We recently visited the high school building where President Ronald Reagan attended. That building in Dixon now houses a history of that area.
Mrs. Wimes, who they were the people that financed this building and everything, she wanted to help carry Ronald Reagan's legacy on. The room, it's actually in its original state, the blackboards, and her idea was that we could bring 5th and 6th grade kids in here and tell them about this little boy that grew up in Dixon, Illinois, just an average student. He had no clue that someday he was gonna maybe be a movie star or president of the United States.
Across the hall is a room filled with memorabilia and pictures from Ronald Reagan's time as president, plus a mural tracing his life from Tampico and Dixon to the White House. Of course, most people remember that President Reagan's favorite snack were jelly beans. Downstairs, greeting visitors as they enter, is a large portrait of the president done in jelly bellies. Yet there's more to Dixon's past than just Mr. Reagan.
The Walgreen family, the drugstore chain, they have an estate here in Dixon. We do have some history in there of the Walgreen family.
The family was the sponsor of one of Admiral Byrd's expeditions to the Antarctic.
There's a map from Admiral Byrd that he gave to Mr. Walgreen, and he wrote a note on that thanking the Walgreens, and he's showing them the coastline that he named after them.
Also on display is this model of the second largest Chautauqua building in the country, which was located in Dixon and whose style had been conceived by an architect from Dixon.
It was an engineering marvel because there were no posts in the middle of this building. This building actually would hold 5,000 people. It had a dirt floor in it. The stage would hold 500 people, and there are a lot of famous speakers like Billy Sunday and that came here to speak. And this model is an exact replica. We got the plans from the patent office. This building, when it was built, cost $7,000. This model cost us $20,000.
There's also a diorama depicting the grounds surrounding the assembly building. Chautauqua gatherings lasted 2 or 3 weeks, attracting families from across the area and offering a variety of speakers and classes in art, Bible study, and oratory.
There were hundreds of tents, and a lot of them had wooden floors, and you could rent them to stay in there. Also in the grounds there was a big hotel and a restaurant. The third floor of the building is basically, we finished it all off to be a research center. There is still a gymnasium up there that's been restored. We also built a loft in that gymnasium, that's where our boardroom is at, but it's still the old gymnasium where Ronald Reagan played basketball.
The museum's newest exhibits are a reflection of its mission as the Northwest Territory Historic Center. Here visitors can learn more about Blackhawk and the conflict that bears his name.
The whole side of this building on this floor is a time frame. The first exhibit is probably they tell us, the largest Blackhawk exhibit in the country. It's all on the Blackhawk War and the history of the settlers as they came in here. There's also, when the Blackhawk War started, there's a depiction of what happened in what is Stillman Valley today. That's actually where the Blackhawk War started in 1832, April of 1832. Then as the white settlers came in here and started settling, and they started farming the land and everything. So this exhibit is a lot of antiques. It's actually there's a kitchen. You walk in the kitchen and everything, and there's this period. Then into a barn, and we have a lot of exhibits in there of antique stuff back in that era. You can pick up a sheet. It's got numbers on that sheet, and there's a number by every antique that's in here, so you can look up for yourself.
From the first settlers to the White House, today a building that was saved because of one of its students is still teaching history. Not too far from the old schoolhouse is the boyhood home of Ronald Reagan, which is also open to the public. To learn more about the Northwest Territory Historic Center, go to their website at www.nthc.org or call 815-2 288 5508.